This isn't just a documentary, it's a quiet archive of strength, of joy, of complexity. These are stories you've likely never heard but should have, told in our words.
So, Desperate Times is a one-woman comedy that I wrote. It's a play about a woman who's kind of at a low point in her life. So, what she does to make her life a little bit more exciting is to start shoplifting. And she accidentally steals a Uniqlo side bag. And to get out going to jail, she basically fakes a pregnancy. It's been a very, almost isolating experience, but also really exciting because almost like one of the very first people to do this on a bigger scale. So when we get to meet the audiences, most of which are Black and Muslim women themselves, and they get to see themselves represented on stage, that makes me feel really inspired because a lot of them are coming to the theatre for the first time. And the thing that makes me feel joyous about my identity is the fact that it is very intersectional, but the fact that I have like these three different identities at once, being Black, Muslim and a woman, it feels like a triple threat in a good way because I get to show people that their understanding of what they think a Black Muslim woman might be isn't what is actually the truth.
Each of these stories start with longing for laughter, for space, for belonging, and sometimes that longing grows into something you can build with your own hands.
I used to do running when I was younger, and I realised that I actually really missed running as I got older, like around 19. I wanted to get back into running because I used to do it when I was like 11 up till 15, 14. But when I tried to look for, different clubs to join, it was really hard to find clubs. And so, I thought, well, let me speak to other Muslim women who felt the same way. And I just got loads of responses from them explaining how hard it is to find a safe space to run in and how hard it is to be in spaces with other Muslims. And I think specifically as a Black Muslim woman, it can feel quite isolating when you're in certain spaces because no one else will really understand that experience other than another Black Muslim woman. I wanted a space to feel like I can belong, but also in turn for others to feel like they can belong. And so when I hear whether that's like an auntie, whether that's like a mother, come and say that they feel like this is a space for them, alhamdulillah, you can only praise Allah for that because that is something that everyone should experience. So I think that's kind of like one motivator I'd say that I have in those moments.
Care takes many forms. For some, it's running a safe space. For others, it's documenting the memories we carry and those we've inherited.
Hello, my name is Ruwaida. I'm a writer and filmmaker based in London, North London. And I'd say that my practice is fueled by a desire to explore my identity and like through film and like writing, screen and theatre and like all these different like visual mediums. And I tend to be drawn to themes of nostalgia and memory and like cultural preservation and colonial gaze. So yeah, I'd say nostalgia and memory are like the two anchors to the kind of films and stories that I like to tell and want to tell. I feel like it goes without saying that my main focus is like centralizing Black people in my stories, Black Muslims in my stories, my culture, Somalis in my stories. When it comes to like characters I want to write, plays that I want to go and review, films that I want to go like review and watch. I definitely look to sourcing spaces that I see myself reflected in, because there isn't much out there, and I feel a responsibility to be the one that is doing that. I feel like it's our time to sort of tell our own stories and to tell it with the full scope of freedom, I suppose. And yeah.
That's good. That was really good.
What do I look at when I'm creating a piece of work? I think I'm mostly inspired by my surroundings and the people around me, like my friends, my family, even like strangers. I'm so big on like people watching. when it comes to like TV shows and films that I love so much and theatre that I love like slice of life kind of stories. I love the very mundane aspects of like everyday life that people explore, and so I'm definitely drawn to stories that feel like they are just taking snippets from people's lives and like exploring like like the very real realities of just like living everyday life anywhere.
Moving on to grassroots football, and a women's club in London is aiming to give more playing opportunities to Muslims. Barakah FC has been bolstered by a surge in interest in women's football since the pandemic.
Together, they founded a women's football club with the aim of giving Muslim women a space to play football comfortably and confidently. For Saham and Sagal, the most important achievement of the club is the sense of togetherness amongst its members, many of whom have become friends.
I think the three words I would describe Barakah as: community, loving, and like unfailing kindness. It's a beautiful space where like it's very much needed. Like it's been needed since forever, and like we need spaces where Muslim girls can feel free, I guess, like free to play without having to think about like other, if they're meeting like certain requirements or different stuff, or like where they don't feel like they're left out, like whereas at school there's often like times where you'd feel a little bit like different, like you need spaces.
I think of course I am black and I am Muslim, so me being black 100% influences the way me and my sister run Paragon. We're all aware of these things, more aware of boundaries that black women might face. So we try make sure the boundaries are not in place. So we want to create a space where other black people come down and feel like they can feel comfortable, and they can see themselves in other people that come down to them sessions. So we, of course, we're Muslim first, but also being black is such a big thing about us. So we wanted to make sure that every barrier that other Muslim black people face when playing football, we wanted to make sure that other barriers that Muslim women face while playing football wasn't there when they came to Morocco.
Now, Sharifat's work speaks to the kind of courage that confronts silence head-on. As an activist, consultant, and proud Yoruba woman, her voice breaks through where so many of us have been told to stay quiet.
Not that it really tries to address those issues. I think the system is kind of designed, unfortunately, to be racist, to be misogynistic, to be Islamophobic. But I do feel that in the times that the system, or maybe pockets of the system, might try and support us, I find that it handles all of those things individually. So it's like, okay, like we're doing this like Muslim inclusive thing, but then actually it doesn't have enough cultural competency to capture the fact that I'm black and Muslim. So it kind of paints everyone the same. Yeah, so I'm Nigerian, I'm Yoruba, and so my full-time role, I'm a social impact consultant. So I work with charities on like advisory pieces, so it's 5 years, that type of thing. Or in terms of diversity, equity and inclusion, sometimes I do work around that and just like organisational culture. So that's what I do full-time. And then in terms of what I do outside of that, I do advocacy and activism work, specifically around female genital mutilation and violence against women and girls. Islam is so justice-driven that if you have a voice, if you have the capacity, and if you have the desire and the passion, this is definitely something that I think, again, from an Islamic perspective, I think it is important. I think it is important where possible and in the ways that we're able to do to try to engage in activism.
To close, we turn to Salima, a mother, a strategist and an organiser, who reminds us that being a black Muslim woman isn't just about surviving history, but shaping the future.
I was raised in Southwest Philadelphia. My parents converted to Islam in the early 70s. During the civil rights era, seeking salvation and a new way of life. And so faith has always been at the forefront of my life. as a Black Muslim woman, sometimes as a Black Muslim, I'm the only Muslim in the room of Black people. Sometimes in the Muslim community, I'm the only Black Muslim in the room of Muslims. Oftentimes, I am the only women at the table with very influential men. And yes, I have experienced misogyny. And so I will say, since I started the Black Muslim Leadership Council, I have experienced anti-Blackness in the Muslim community at a level that I have never experienced, and I didn't even think it was possible to experience such bigotry and such supremacy, and so yes, over the years I have definitely had experiences that have experienced racism in the greater Muslim community, but it has intensified since October 7th, I would say.
We carry the stories of our mothers. We create space for our sisters. We archive joy for those yet to come. This isn't just about being seen. It's about choosing how we're remembered. To be Black, to be Muslim, and to be a woman is to know the weight of being forgotten and the power of telling your own stories.